What happened at that ballpark last night is going to be talked about for the rest of this season, and quite possibly for the rest of this decade. Shohei Ohtani stepped up to the plate and did what he has been doing all year long. He hit a home run. His 19th of the season. A ball that left his bat with the kind of authority that makes every person in that stadium instinctively rise to their feet before the ball is even halfway to the fence. And then everything stopped. The umpiring crew gathered on the field. The Rockies pitcher walked toward the mound conference. And the next thing that happened was something that nobody in that ballpark and nobody watching on television had ever seen directed at Shohei Ohtani in his entire major league career. The umpires stopped him. They called him back. They inspected his bat. And they ruled it illegal. The home run was gone. The celebration was over before it began. And what followed was one of the most explosive and most controversial sequences of events that Major League Baseball has witnessed all season. 4 camera angles of footage were released. The footage revealed something about Ohtani's behavior just before that home run that sent the entire baseball world into an absolute uproar. The opposing manager was ejected. 2 of his players were ejected. And the baseball world is now asking a question that nobody wanted to have to ask about the greatest player in the sport. What exactly happened out there? What was your immediate reaction when the umpires inspected Ohtani's bat and ruled it illegal after what appeared to be a legitimate 19th home run of the season? The first thing that hits you is the sheer audacity of the moment. Because calling back a home run from Shohei Ohtani is not something any umpiring crew does casually or without absolute certainty that what they observe justifies that level of intervention. The umpires on that field last night made a collective decision that they knew would create an enormous controversy. They knew they were pointing at the greatest player in baseball and saying that something about his equipment did not conform to the rules of the game. That decision requires not just certainty but courage. And the fact that they made it tells you that whatever they observed when they examined that bat was something that left them with no legitimate choice but to make the call they made. Let's go back to the footage. Because the 4 camera angle release is what has truly ignited this controversy beyond the simple fact of the illegal bat ruling itself. In the modern era of baseball, every significant moment is captured from multiple perspectives simultaneously. The broadcast cameras. The center field camera. The cameras positioned along the first and third base lines. And in this case, the footage captured something that the naked eye in real time might have missed entirely. Ohtani's behavior in the moments just before he made contact with that pitch was described by everyone who has reviewed the footage as puzzling. That is the word that keeps appearing in every account from every person who has watched those 4 angles carefully. Puzzling. Not suspicious in a way that definitively proves anything. Not conclusive in a way that removes all doubt. But puzzling in a way that raises questions that the footage alone cannot fully answer, and that the baseball world is now demanding answers to from every available source. From a baseball rules perspective, what exactly constitutes an illegal bat, and how does the inspection process work when umpires decide to examine a player's equipment during a live game? The rules governing bat specifications in Major League Baseball are extensive and specific. The bat must be made from a single piece of solid wood. It must not exceed certain dimensions in terms of length and diameter. It cannot be hollowed out or treated in any way that alters its performance characteristics in a manner not permitted under the official rules. When umpires inspect a bat after a significant play like a home run, they are looking for any of these violations in real time with the tools available to them on the field. The ruling they made against Ohtani's bat last night was not tentative. It was definitive. They inspected it, and they ruled it illegal without ambiguity. And that ruling will now be subjected to the full scrutiny of Major League Baseball's official review process in the days ahead. What do the 4 camera angles of footage specifically reveal about Ohtani's behavior before the home run, and why has that footage generated such an intense reaction from the broader baseball community? This is where careful and honest analysis becomes genuinely important. Because the footage shows something. But what exactly it shows is being interpreted differently by different people watching the same images from the same 4 angles. Some who have reviewed the footage believe that what Ohtani did in those moments before the pitch can be explained by normal pre-swing preparation behavior that falls within the boundaries of what players routinely do at the plate. Others who have reviewed the same footage believe that what they are seeing represents something that warrants serious investigation beyond what the umpires were able to determine on the field in real time. The uproar is not being generated by unanimity of interpretation. It is being generated by the genuine uncertainty that exists in the space between those two readings of the same visual evidence. From the Rockies' perspective, what triggered the initial conversation between the pitcher and the umpiring crew that set this entire chain of events in motion? This is a critically important part of the story that is getting lost in the larger controversy surrounding the footage and the illegal bat ruling. The Rockies pitcher initiated contact with the umpires after Ohtani's home run. That means someone on the Colorado side of this game observed something in real time that they believed warranted official examination. A pitcher making that kind of complaint to an umpiring crew after giving up a home run to the best hitter in baseball is not a decision made lightly. There are consequences to that kind of challenge if the umpires determine that the complaint is without merit. The fact that the Rockies pitcher initiated the conversation and that the umpires responded by conducting the inspection tells you that whatever concern was raised had enough credibility in that moment to justify the extraordinary step of stopping the game and examining the bat. Now let's talk about the ejections. The opposing manager and 2 Rockies players were ejected during what followed the illegal bat ruling. Ejections of this nature, multiple ejections from the same team in a single incident, almost always indicate that the emotional temperature of a situation escalated beyond what the umpiring crew was willing to manage through warnings alone. When a manager gets ejected, it is typically because he has crossed a line of behavior that the umpires determined could not be allowed to continue on the field. When 2 players are also ejected in the same incident, it tells you that the confrontation was genuinely intense, and that the Rockies as a team felt strongly enough about what they believed they had witnessed to accept the consequences of their behavior. The ejections are not just a footnote to this story. They are a measure of how seriously the Rockies' organization took what happened in that game. What does Major League Baseball's official review process look like from this point forward, and what are the possible outcomes that could result from the investigation that the league is almost certainly now conducting? MLB has the resources and the authority to conduct a comprehensive review that goes far beyond what the umpiring crew was able to determine on the field. They can examine the confiscated bat in a controlled laboratory environment with equipment far more sophisticated than anything available during a live game. They can review all available footage, including angles that were not publicly released. They can interview witnesses. And they can reach a conclusion that either confirms the illegal bat ruling as entirely justified or that introduces additional complexity into an already complicated situation. The outcome of that process will determine how this story is ultimately written in the record books of this season. Shohei Ohtani has built his reputation on a foundation of absolute integrity and absolute professionalism throughout his entire career. The controversy that erupted last night is the most significant challenge to that reputation that he has ever faced. The footage raises questions. The illegal bat ruling raises questions. And the baseball world is now waiting for answers that only a thorough and transparent investigation can provide. Whatever those answers turn out to be, what happened last night at that ballpark is something that no one who witnessed it will ever forget. The 19th home run that wasn't. The 4 camera angles that started an uproar. And the questions that are now reverberating through every corner of professional baseball. This story is far from over.